Welcome to another episode of CBN Live, the weekly live show dedicated to cybersecurity for business. Presented by EK3 Technologies, Florida's award-winning authority on cybersecurity and cyber risk mitigation and management. And now, here's your host, Earl.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. It is I, Earl, and I am happy to be here with you for another episode of CBN. Today, we're going to talk about ransomware preparedness and ransomware prevention. We are live today on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. We are on it today. So I'm very glad and I'm excited to have you here with us this morning. And I think we're going to have a great discussion on prevention of ransomware. On a side note, I don't know if you guys noticed it this morning or if anyone was even up and realized it, but I want to give a big shout out and congratulations to SpaceX this morning. At 8:20, they launched Starship 4. Starship 4 went farther than Starship has ever gone. It's one of the biggest rockets that we've ever launched. Not only did it launch, it went into space and came back to Earth, and it was great. So if you didn't get to see that, I'm sure there's some sort of replay on it. But congratulations to them. They did great on that. So let's talk about ransomware and how we can prevent ransomware in your environment. So understanding ransomware. So let's talk about what ransomware is. So ransomware is a type of malicious software. And that software is downloaded and installed on your workstation. It comes in various different forms. We have CryptoLocker, WannaCry, PETA, all different types of ransomware, but they all do exactly the same thing. And one of the things that ransomware does is it actually takes your files and encrypts them in some way, and then requires you to pay money in order to get those files back. Hence ransomware. They're holding your files hostage, and they want you to pay some type of monetary fund to get your files back. So common vectors for ransomware attacks are emails. Last week we talked about phishing prevention. The phishing is one of the most common vectors for ransomware attacks. Also, malicious download and attachments. Again, we're right back to email, right? So common email attachments. Maybe you thought it was a Dropbox. Turns out it's not a Dropbox. It's something that you want to do there, and also some software vulnerabilities. Okay. One of the things I forgot to mention at the top of the show, we are live. So that means if you want to ask any questions, put them in the chat box. So depending on what software you're using, the chat box is either here or it could be over there or over there. I don't know what you're using, but wherever the chat box is, type it in there. Be more than happy to answer any questions live while we're on there, specifically about ransomware today. So understanding that ransomware takes your files, locks them up, requires you to pay back. The importance of backups is one of the things that is great, right? So understanding what your backup strategy is. Now, keep in mind, sometimes the ransomware actors are in your system for, I believe the last statistic I read was close to 3 to 4 months before they actually started attacking. So how long do you keep your backups? Do you keep them yearly, 6 months, weekly? How long are your backups kept? Are they offsite? Are they on-site? Are they on the work? Are they on the internet or off the internet? I have actually seen where ransomware actors, not only did they go after the current files, they also went after the files that were in the backup system. So are your backup files stored off-site? And are you testing the restoration of your backups, right? So yes, you say you have a backup, but do you actually have a backup? And can you actually restore from there? So that's important to understand. Employee training and awareness. And again, we talked about this in the last video regarding phishing. Understanding that your employees want to do a good job for you, but they are worried that you are going to say something to them if they do something wrong. But you need to make sure that you are always teaching them, always keeping them in a program to understand what they're doing. Recognize phishing attempts, right? If there's a phishing attempt there, they need to recognize that. Making sure they're using safe browsing practices and reporting suspicious activities, right? If they do something wrong, it's important that you have a program where they feel that they can come to you and say, I think this is a problem and we need to fix it, and they not get admonished for that. And I can't really stress that enough. And I see all the time where people um, feel like they can't come to their employer because they're worried that their employer may say something or cause them some sort of discomfort, whether that be embarrassment or whatever, that they did something wrong. They need to have a program in which they feel safe coming to you for those kinds of things. Strong security practices, right? So you need to make sure that you have a password policy, and that needs to use strong, unique passwords, a unique password for everything. Multi-factor authentication, right? We talked about that last week. Multi-factor authentication, making sure that it's not just the password that you log into. Yes, it's a pain. Yes, people hate it, but it is just another quiver in your toolkit for keeping people out of your system. Again, your password is out there. If you don't think it is, go to our website, ask for a dark web scan. We do them free all the time. I can show you where your password is probably out there. 9 times out of 10, it's out of there. And then use something called the least privilege principle. And the least privilege principle means give your employees the least amount of privileges that they need on your network in order to do their job. Does Sally Mae need to be able to install software on her computer and not have to call IT? Probably not. Does she want it because calling IT is a pain and she thinks she's special and doesn't require that? Yes. But having that extra check in place means that malware cannot be installed, right? So let's make sure that we're using that principle. Keeping our systems updated, making sure that we have a program where all software is updated on our workstation, not just Windows, but Microsoft programs, Adobe programs, any programs that you can think of should be updated as well. Making sure that those tools are automated, making sure that you have a patch management program that is there and is always making sure that your programs are up to date. Use your advanced security tools. Now, the people who tell me I have antivirus and I'm good, you have a problem. Antivirus is no longer the de facto standard in protecting you. You need to have antivirus. You need to have active ransomware protection software. You need to have someone looking for active ransomware behavior, and you need to have network firewalls in place, right? You need to have network segmentation as well as firewalls. And then you need to have incident response planning, right? So what's going to happen when you get ransomware? As I tell all of our clients, we can do our best to prevent you from getting some sort of ransomware, but nothing is 100% guaranteed. If you find a vendor out there that says, I can guarantee 100% that you're not going to get ransomware, they are lying. So just like you have a protection plan for if there's a hurricane or a fire or a tornado or what have you, you need to have an incident response plan for your business when and if you get ransomware. I'm not saying that everyone's going to get ransomware, but no one can 100% prevent it. So you need to be prepared. Always be prepared. I think if you were in the Boy Scouts, or now I think they're called just the Scouts of America, be prepared is their motto, right? So let's always be prepared. And then you need to look at legal and regulatory compliance. And if you're a CPA, if you're a bank, if you are initiating loans, if you are working with securities, right? You have legal requirements now that you are required to comply with. They're called the FTC rules. And those are legal requirements that you are required to have in order to prevent ransomware. And then finally, again, recovery and mitigation strategies, right? So understanding what you're going to do post-attack, understanding if you're going to negotiate, if you have a policy that will negotiate with ransomware attackers, and what's the long-term recovery for that. So our clients have a program that says this is what we're going to do for ransomware. We know what our plan is. We have active monitoring and active software on our workstations to look out for these type of things. But if you don't, you can schedule a first time appointment with me. You can go to ek3tech, or excuse me, ek3.tech/FTA and schedule an appointment. Let's talk about what your plan is. Be more than happy to talk with you about it. You can also email us at cyberrisk@ek3tech.com. And of course, you can go to our website at www.ek3tech.com. It has been a pleasure talking to you today. We have a new program launching on Wednesdays, on every other Wednesday. So next Wednesday and the Wednesday after, it's going to be our cyber briefing. We're going to have a discussion every other week about what we're seeing in the marketplace and in the wild for cybersecurity and what you and your company need to be doing to protect yourself. And just going over current events and current things that are happening. So every other Wednesday, we're going to do that at 11 a.m. So be sure to tune in for that. You'll find information on that on all of our socials, as well as on our website at www.ek3tech.com. So I hope you learned something today. I appreciate you being here with us. As always, stay cyber strong, and we'll see you right here next week, 10:30 for CBN. Have a great week, everyone.